Cheers guys, Nico here. This video is going to be an original one. I'm talking about a trading strategy which I'm also no-coding via a no-coding tool, FxDreema, so I will explain the strategy piece by piece. The trading bot I'm talking about you already see running here on the charts in visual mode on MetaTrader 5 as well as the equity curve. So you see already how the profits are being accumulated, and we almost witness a perfect 45-degree angle growth. Quick disclaimer later on about this particular trading bot, which is, by the way, a grid trading system. Without further ado, let's head into chapter number 1, in which I'm going to explain the trading bot piece by piece, block by block, and also refer to the charts here in TradingView. Disclaimer, is not a viable trading system. It is a great way to learn no coding, since you only have to pretty much use blocks. You probably also know like the Wix website builder, right, or Jimdo or whatever, where you do not have to hard code website pages anymore, but you can simply drag and drop. That is the same stuff with this tool you see right here on the screen, which is called FxDreema. You can simply drag and drop blocks and no code your strategies without getting lost in any coding, what is very, very handy. Plus on top, you get actually a template from me here right now. So you get, a rocket start. Just quick overview what you see actually here, right? You see pretty much like two strings, the left side and the right side, and then some stuff here on the right as well. This part is pretty much just the buy part. So here we only focus on buying, like on long positions, and here it's the same. It is just the other way around. We go short. That is a specialty of this trading system. It's a grid trading system. We don't have a stop loss implemented. That is why these 4 blocks are very important, because at one point we simply have to cut losses and we have to call it a day. That is why these 4 blocks are very, very important and kind of part of the buy now, sell now blocks. And this one is just for commenting, so you see some stuff on the MetaTrader 5 platform. What you see actually right now as well, in the upper right corner, you see like floating profits, floating loss, and so on and so on. So condition number 1, which is important in this trading system, is that there are no trades. So we will simply focus on the long side. So we only have to run it once. As long as there's no position, good stuff. We go to the next block. We check out this condition block, which is checking out price action. And here you see that the candle close of candle 0, you can also say the current candle which is being in creation, right? And the candle before this candle. The candle close has to be above the candle open of the prior candle. What does it mean in simple words? Well, that is a pretty good example. The candle simply has to be bigger, overarching the prior candle, such as here in that example. Why? Well, candle number 0, let's simply pretend that we do not know the candles after. Doesn't really matter. So we are right now right here in time and place, and this candle is being in creation. So that is our candle 0, that is our candle number 1, and the close has to be above 0, above the candle open of the prior one of number 1. So you see the close above the open, that is the close, that is the open, because that is a bearish one, that is a bullish one. All right, cool, green lights. Let's go to the next one. And this one simply says that the prior candle has to be bearish. Why? Because the candle close has to be below the candle open. Candle open has to be above the candle close. Very simple, very straightforward. So in other words, it just has to be a bearish candle or a red candle. And then what does it mean? Well, we take the first long position. Let's simply mark it with this arrow. So we will enter right here. And then we go long. Cool. That is part number 1, first position, also called. And then we activate the grid. You see the first block here, simply checking out, is there a long position? Yes, no. If yes, then let's go to the next block. In that case, we assume there's a long position. Then this block simply makes sure that we do not open an unlimited amount of trades. So that is why we simply check, well, are we still below the desired amount of open positions? And this is a so-called constant, so you can define it yourself. You can set it to 10, 50, 100, 3, whatever. Let's assume this is also green lighted, and then the so-called grid mechanic comes into place. What does it mean? Well, grid, that is pretty much the disclaimer I was teasing you in the beginning. The whole system, don't get me wrong, is not a viable long-term vehicle to accumulate wealth in a robust and consistent way. It is closer to gambling than to investing because of this grid mechanic, because you are not really exploiting any market inefficiencies, or you don't have really any like a real statistical edge, for example, in the market, since this grid mechanic is really simply placing trades in a symmetric way. In that case, for example, let's say this constant is set at 5 pips. So that simply means, let's check, is there like a trade already in the range of like 5 pips below or above? If not, then we will simply place another trade. And that will happen every 5 pips. And that is why it looks kind of like a grid. That is why, as you recall, the prior block is also quite important, having a so-called trade limit, making sure that we do not place 100 trades, 1,000 trades, but let's say 5 or 7, something like this. Cool. And this block, well, is simply placing the long positions, and as you can see, it is based on risk percentages of your balance. You can also, that is up to you, since you can also get access to the source file, also to like the visualization of all those blocks, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel yourself. So you could also think about making it even more Wall Street bet-like by adding martingale, or adding whatever you want, actually adding a stop loss mode, because just again, to the disclaimer I already mentioned, this is not a viable investment vehicle, since we also do not have a stop loss. And what we also always preach here on this channel is the so-called fund manager approach, risking a maximum of, let's say, 1%, if you can, even lower, 0.5, 0.3, 0.1%, the lower the better. Just really making sure protecting your money instead of like Wall Street bet, gambling all of your savings and risking losing it all. And this system is definitely exactly the opposite, but I see such a big demand or a desire to like get your hands dirty with these kind of funny systems. I get it, but please understand me correctly that you should really be careful in using these kind of systems for wealth growth, because in my point of view, they are not robust enough to do so. Then I will actually skip these 6 blocks you see here at the end, because they are a little bit a bit more advanced, and I think most of you who are seeing this maybe the very first time are getting a little bit lost. Our students from the community, they will figure it out themselves, since they have seen those already 1,000 times. They know how to play around with them, making it their own, because that is also the very fun part as well, getting such a file and then adding your own creativity. In that case, it is really more about like practicing placing blocks at the right position, getting comfortable using this kind of no-coding tool. This system is off the rail in any instance, because we use grid system. You might want to add martingale as well later on. And on top, you also don't have any stop losses except these 4 blocks. Anyway, you always want to have kind of a stop loss just to be really, really safe. Let me quickly talk about this kind of alternative way of implementing a stop loss into your trading bot. Here you can define how much loss is okay for you. That is again a constant, so you can also adjust this in MetaTrader 5 and 4. Here in that case, let's see, a cut loss percent. Here it's set at 30%. So what does it mean? As soon as you are losing, or you have a floating profit of more than 30%, let's say you have 1,000 US dollar on your account, you have a loss of 301 US dollar floating, then all the positions will be closed to simply avoid losing even more than 30%. That's it. And importance of this, since you already saw that it's a grid trading system, so that means you normally do not have 1 position open or 2, rather 5, 6, 7, 20 maybe sometimes. That is why this one is looking on the total accumulated total floating loss. Alright, let's get to chapter number 2, where I'm talking about the rationale and how to utilize this kind of grid system. I would say with as little money as possible if you want to spend actual real money, or even better, just use a demo account. For example, from IC Markets, you can create I think up to 30 demo accounts for completely free, and then you can put 1k, 10k, 100k and upload also this trading bot on the server, and then you already see how it's taking trades, how it's closing them, and that is already, I would say, super fascinating, at least for me, and you get a feeling for it. What I definitely would not do is actually investing a chunk of money which means something to you. I think the best one is to simply keep it easy and do not invest real money, and simply maybe also getting your hands dirty in this tool and simply, for example, adding martingale or playing around with this very simple price action pattern I showed you here before. Maybe you want to make it a little bit more sophisticated, add kind of a time zone breakout thingy, for example, for the London session or whatever. Pretty interesting one. And the background why I'm publishing this kind of system is that I see especially people, they are really fascinated not really by the slow and robust investing and gaining, let's say 5-7% per year. It's more about the 5 to 7% per month. And a very new development, what I saw is, for example, in meme stocks, meme coins, that people are not looking for even these gains per month. They're looking for like quadrupling their investment within one investment, right? Like getting 10x, 20x. And this kind of system, for example, also paired with martingale, is definitely satisfying this kind of urge. That is just an observation of mine, and that is at least one of the responses I would like to give you right now, and also would like to expand on this in the near future, but always with the disclaimer to really not put your money into it and satisfy the urge by looking on the charts and seeing how the numbers may rise, but also definitely going into the dark red and simply taking this system as a learning in the end, to build actual viable systems in the future. Now let's head over to the last part of this video, part number 3, in how to get access to this kind of trading bot. On our website of New Capital FX, as you can see it here in the upper left corner, we also have our own trade lab, our own trading server, VPS, for as low as $29 per month, in euro even a little bit less than that, and then you get already a pretty healthy VPS virtual computer, which is already set up with the trading software you simply need in the beginning, such as MetaTrader 5, which is already fed with historical price data from 2010 up to 2023. So you have more than a decade of backtesting data to get your hands dirty, for example, with the system I already showed you. The system I showed you is also already pre-uploaded onto the MetaTrader 5 platform, and many other systems we already showed you before in all the other videos before. And of course, you can also ask us questions if you have any, and simply expand your learning, your journey with us. We are very curious to hear your thoughts, your feedback, not only about the trading software, not only about the server, but also about the courses and like all the materials we publish here on this channel. Super curious. And just as a caveat, you can also buy these kind of grid system without actually knowing what is the trading rationale, which I explained to you in chapter number 1. You see such a grid system, for example, on the MQL5 marketplace, as you can see it right here, which is called Quantum Starman, for around $500. And well, if you simply check out our server, which are way cheaper, obviously, and plus you get also the source code and many other bots, plus also the chance to learn to code these kind of systems yourself. So not only the hard knowledge how to actually execute, but also getting kind of a trading rationale regarding, for example, best practices, how to kick it off in the best way. Obviously, we do not have the holy grail, but we have definitely best practices at hand and a bunch of very well working trading systems, which you can also check out in the video description down below, which is running on several kind of forex pairs as well as on crypto, already backed with a track record of more than 2 years. However, if you want to kick it off yourself, you can definitely reach out to us. Also ask our community. It's a very vibrant community. I hope you enjoyed the video. I see you in the next one. Cheers and goodbye.